Today I'm going to share with you a collective energy update and an urgent message about the coronavirus and how we can all begin to go within to transmute fear and turn it into love. Let's go! Hello, fellow flames. Today I want to share with you 3 areas of action that you can take that will support this collective purge that is going on with the coronavirus, that is sending the entire world inward to find balance within to create unity amongst the entire globe. First, I also want to say happy St. Patrick's Day. And this could not be more appropriate, any of this, for the divine timing of the gift in everything collectively and within. Traditionally, we think of St. Patrick's Day of something as being lucky. And, it originated in Ireland. And, there's so much to be said about that concept from kind of like the Easter Bunny and Christmas and all those things. But what most people don't realize is that St. Patrick really represents twin flames in their connection to create union within and a reunion within the Trinity. And he basically provided us with a declaration, an oath that says, I bind myself today in faith of the Trinity in unity. I bind myself today in the faith of the Trinity in unity. Now, that aligns perfectly not only for us as twin flames that has been on this twin flame journey for a long time, facing these fears and doing the inner work and the shadow work that has led us up to this point, that I also am going to share with you in a minute, a little bit of an energy update of how we as twin flames have kind of opened the portal to what's happening here. And I also want to share with you on a collective scale an understanding of what this global outbreak, scare, fear, purge is collectively clearing, how and why that links to all of this work we've been doing. It is, as I said, it's a universal gift for us to take an opportunity to choose love over fear. And that is in contrast. The love and fear are in contrast of like an emotion of a representation of how we live. And with the coronavirus attacking the lungs, emotionally, the lungs represent your ability to take in the fullness of life. And from a global scale, people have not been able to take in this fullness of love, life, livelihood in a manner of, most people are running in fear of being able to connect to themselves. They won't be silent. They won't go within. Maybe they don't even know how to. But, this collective quarantine basically is really forcing people to face themselves and face fears. As we know as twin flames, those outer fears and triggers are really triggering us inside to purge things that we have had inside of us. And if you've heard me talk very much, I talk about the shift or be shifted. This is a planetary forced shift, really, for everyone to go within to find more within themselves so that they can face those fears and then learn to do this binding of this faith within and trusting this process that we are out of control with here to really find that inner peace and stillness to then create unity amongst everyone. And us as twin flames, we've been doing the balance within and the reunion and unity, like basically of our twin, that has created this collective clearing of what we would consider like all the starseeds, lightworkers, and twin flames. And then we take that outward. This is like the connection of that to all that is. So now is the time, as I said, in this is an urgent message to be sent out there to all starseeds, lightworkers, and twin flames, that now is the time for you to step forward We've been doing this work for a long time, and it's time to stand up, step up, speak up, and to begin to share that light in, as a beacon for other people to follow that's been going through this collective purge of this fear. And, that's not to deny that that's real, because it is real. And it's also, as a human being, it's okay to take precautionary actions in order to comply with realistic things that are happening. But it does not mean that we have to fall into the vortex and the negativity of that, and getting sucked into the media and all of those things. So that's where I want to share with you some things you can do to help promote love over fear today, and be able to put your light into motion and to be able to share that. We're all being called up in this. Even myself, I'll share with you some things in a minute in that I feel really called up where to do and share. So let's talk about the energy then behind this contrast of this love versus fear, choosing love over fear, and realizing that, like in that concept, we as twin flames, or the ascension journey of anyone on that ascension journey, has been going up and, well, first of all, going through the purge, the dark night of the soul, which is happening globally now, to be able to activate inside of us to release and purge all of that fear, which has raised our own conscious vibration from this 3D mechanism into the 5D, to tap into the heaven, to the cosmic wisdom, to integrate with that, to become the conduit, to anchor that light and embody it within us and around us, through us, and down into the core of Mother Earth, into the grids, the crystalline grids of Mother Earth. And, last year in March of 2019, I had talked about in the videos that, we had created the new Earth on that spring equinox last year, and that the Schumann's resonance had spiked and shifted, showing that, the frequency of the Earth had raised so much that it was literally shifting, different vibrations of the Schumann's resonance, which is basically tracking the frequency of the Earth, the vibration of the Earth. I'll put a link below to that. There's a video series I did on the 3 days of darkness. I'll make sure you have that link below so you can follow more information on that, because in that time I shared about this shift coming, about going inward, about, being like having to stay home and don't answer your door. That kind of this was coming, that we would all have to stay at home. And I also mentioned in that, because of the shift in the vibration of the Earth, that there were going to be potential earthquakes coming, and it was going to happen by July 4th. And then on July 4th, LA had the earthquake that I was being shown that something was coming. And I'd even said in those videos about that, and I said, don't let that fear, shake you up, but this is kind of coming. So if you haven't watched that series of the 3 days of darkness, make sure to watch that information. Like I said, for more information on kind of a little bit deeper into what I'm referring to here. So as we move forward, what happened in the polarities of this love and this fear that was being created from what we've been doing for years in this portal, and keeping in mind we were shifting from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius I talk about, which is going from the old ways, breaking down structures, and then creating new ways to do things and handle things, but coming into the more of the ease and grace and the feminine energy of the age of Aquarius, which is love, peace, harmony. So we've been raising our vibration, tapping into the wisdom, anchoring that, shifting the earth plane. The earth's raised its vibration. What happened to us internally when our vibration raised through that process of tapping into that higher light and wisdom and activating ourselves, what then happened is it raised our frequency to where the karma couldn't live in our vibration anymore. So it activated us in such a way that we went through karmic purges. And it took our twin flame to also create those activations to trigger us to go deeper in those purges to release that karma. And so now this is the same thing happening. what I'm saying is the earth plane raised its frequency and vibration last year. And now, like, if you kind of fast forward to here, the frequency of the earth is much higher. And so the karmic clearing of all that is cannot live in that vibration. So it's activating everything and everyone that shift or be shifted to force and to purge this out of them. And then in the process of that, what I was about to tell you is back around October to November of last year, what we did was, I need to back up a second, this is very deep. So in the shift of Age of Pisces to Age of Aquarius, we were shifting from masculine to feminine and doing like this convergence of energy, all right, with the peak of it being over these last 7 years of the ascension from 2012 to 2019 on December 21st. If you follow me along, you'll know what I'm talking about. If not, look at my video series on that as well. But in that shift of that, we're turning the tides. So in the turning of the tides, it's taking, just to say now, the contrast of fear and love, and we're bringing them in this contrast to shift this, or even like the masculine and feminine energies. So as we shift out of fear and we shift into love, that's shifting also from our masculine way to our feminine way. So we're bringing all this balance full circle to bring in this feminine energy of ease and grace and love, which takes shifting to the heart. And so this whole collective purge is shifting everyone inward to find within their heart. And then, so, as we are doing that, then in the contrast to the fear and the love right now that we had in October, November, because of that convergence, we did this complete shift. And the shift split the energy into dark versus light. It came like a separation in the collective energy, where we had been role reversing it, that I talk about. And in that role reversal, to get it into harmony, it separated everything in the process. So like you think about that as you and your twin going into the separation. So the collective light and dark went into separation in October to November. And the collective of everything of all that is was having a lot of, contrast and duality going on between like a galactic war and a war between the light and the dark. And I got to tell you, I was doing so much shadow work in that time frame as a light worker and being kind of pulled into it. And as I know, a lot of my light worker people I've worked with or like have talked with, it was doing kind of the same thing. And it was also like separating like concepts and ideas, and that's the point of breaking apart everything that no longer is working. So now what we're doing is we're purging out of that, okay, to find the heart so that all that is and collectively can be put back together with love. And so that's the whole point of that is, this love and fear collectively is we're helping everyone shift into the heart here now so that we can harmonize that love and fear now, bringing it back into the oneness and the unity that's going to come from within collectively to do that, and like within yourself to do that collectively, because it's within that creates everything. We as the whole make up the whole. So everyone has to do this to make up the whole for all that is, and that's harmonizing and bring neutrality of the love and the fear into a 0-point field, which puts us into a place of what this new earth and this ascension process and us as twin flames in our journey is here to do. So now let's talk about 3 things that you can personally do that will help shift this collective clearing. One of the number 1 pieces of advice I could give you is to stay present. That's the number 1 thing here. We don't have control of what's going on out there. We don't have control of a lot of times what's within our own life. But the only thing we do have control over is our thoughts and our actions. So if you stay present and stay within that, that's going to help to, if we can do that and promote that collectively, it's going to help to shift and transmute, the fear that's going on collectively. And that's where I think us as light workers can come in to help offer this transmutation to help transmute this fear. And we can transmute the fear with the love. So I want to give you an affirmation that you can use. I wrote it down up here. I'm just going to read it off because I want to give you an affirmation that you can use in order to help you stay present. So it says, in this very moment, all is well in my world. I am human, and it is okay to take precaution. When my mind drifts to fear, and it might, I make a conscious effort to choose love over fear, which will always lead me back to my heart. I want to read that one more time. In this very moment, all is well in my world. I am human, and it's okay to take precaution. When my mind drifts to fear, and it might, I make a conscious effort to choose love over fear, which will always lead me back to my heart. Don't get caught up in the media, folks. It's easy to do. It will send you in a negative spiral, and it's not the most healthiest way for anything to be able to feed into that collective. See, that's a collective, that's proving this collective consciousness, because the media is like a negative version of the collective consciousness, and look what it's doing to the world. So if we can, as light workers, get present within ourselves, and then number 2, take and stay intentional within ourselves, meaning it's also not necessarily those actions that we do take, it's the energy behind the action that counts. So think of your actions as your ammunition and load those actions with love as what you're delivering. And to do that, that means we need to practice our self-love. And that being, during this time, instead of watching the news and TV and all that's going on in there, whether it's the extra time that everyone's having by staying home, now is the time to meditate. Now is the time to do things that you're really putting your self-care into practice as a light worker, starseed, or twin flame. If you've not been doing that up to this point, it's a great time to do it. I was talking to my mom a couple nights ago, and she's talking about how everyone's staying in and the quarantine and everything shutting down and no travel. And I said to her, I said, that's how I've spent my life for the last several years. I have went into solitude for several years. I have been within, and now I can see part of that preparation. Even in the last few months with this whole big shift that I was talking about with this split, this shadow work, I've saw myself going even more inward to the point where I've turned down trips to Australia and Egypt and other trips. I've been working on this vertical balance thing, but it's really this conscious shift. And I sometimes can't, with my vibration being so high and the frequency in my channel, or just being tapped into the cosmic, global, galactic, it's hard for me to get into public sometimes because I'm so connected. I've even had to leave restaurants. Even my group that came for the Awaken Your Soul Blueprint, we all went to eat. There was a lot of chaos in that, and I was so open, preparing for that and ready for that. I had to leave the restaurant to go outside because it was too stimulating for me. So, use this time to go in and do these things. One of the things I've done in the past that worked really well is the All Meditation by Wayne Dyer. I'll make sure you have a link below for that, the one I like. I've done it 30 days in the past and watched my life change. The All Meditation really represents the sound of God, and it's a vibration that you can use to activate your inner cells and the vibration of the sound frequency. So sound healing is really good to put into action, and that emits what it is you want. You can send love out and even do it I'm doing some of that now. I'm doing it again. I've watched my life change doing it many times for about close to 20 years probably with the All Meditation. And I just recently started again. So I invite you to join my challenge of the 30 days All Meditation that will help change your vibration within and your own reality. Now is the time to put your pain into purpose as that light worker and let your light shine. And of course, things like boosting your immune system with zinc and vitamin C. And, my favorite one is Emergent C, which is a powdered drink that you drink. And I've been boosting up, I've been loading up on a couple a day, which is 2,000 milligrams. So, focus on also reinventing yourself. So many people in this this journey as twin flames have been going through that death. And that's what I was telling a friend last night in a conversation I was having with her. I basically said, you know, I'm not in fear here. I trust this process. I have faced so many fears that I have died over and over and over again already in this life, to the point where even before all this happened, I was like, I just feel in this sense of fearlessness. And I'm not saying don't be practical and don't, you know, take precaution. But on the other end of that, like, I have faced so much, as so many of you have, that, you know, stay intentional with this, that, you know, use this as the gift and the opportunity to work more on yourself in this time. And that's why today, being St. Patrick's Day, I felt guided to offer my Reinvent the New You online course for $17. And so you'll find a link for that below too, because this whole thing is about rebirthing the new identity of ourselves, discovering the true self. And then collectively, we're rebirthing the entire globe as everyone steps into more of this feminine empowerment and the grace and the ease and moves forward. So the third thing is share your light. So that means that, like, you need to make the conscious effort. I kind of said some of these, but make a conscious effort to be activating your light in such a way that it goes up and your frequency goes up, so that you can then work your light within to do some of these actions I just said, to be working the light to more self-love, more activations within. That way your light then and your frequency is holding more of your light into your body, so that you can then be that beacon to share that light. So now, you know, that sharing your light is, you know, an important time to do so now is to do it in like a collective unity. Meaning, like, if we've been light workers out there working ourselves, we need to kind of partner up and do some collaborating in order, and more group type things that's going to create more power to the two is greater than one, just like the twin flame concept of, you know, you and your twin flame. So there's two things I want to share with you that I've been like guided to do. And one is a free group activation of just, there's a couple ways I can do this. So I want your feedback on this. Please give me your feedback on this and tell me below what sounds good to you. I've thought about just doing like a live activation on YouTube, where I come on and just go through an activation to support this light and share this light and anchor this light wherever you are. Because if we take this love and basically shifting from the fear to the freedom, and we bring and connect in our heart space, and then we connect heart to heart, and we anchor that into that earth plane where you are and I am and everyone around the globe is, we're creating a network of the World Wide Web of the energy that can make an impactful shift of love into those spaces. I've got more coming on grid work, but this is grid work that I've been doing for several years, and I have a lot of clients doing this, and I've talked about this. I do have a video coming more on the science behind what's happening, but know that as we bring that wisdom in and we are anchoring that into the vibration of the earth, that's what's making and shifting this bigger collective energy. So again, if you're interested, first of all, number one question is, are you interested in a group activation that we anchor some light and love and transmute some fear? And first option is to do a live on Facebook. Second option would be if I do it in a smaller group where we literally get into a live one-on-one, but I can only have a maximum of, I think it's like 100 people in my group chat room, and not everybody could speak. You could either dial in if you don't want to be seen, you know, all those things, and then I can record that and I could post it as the activation for everyone. I thought about kind of doing both of that. I feel lots of things coming. I have a live that I'm going to be doing on my personal page, probably something on Facebook. I'm going to be collaborating with some light workers. I've got we're already brewing up something that we're going to do. And so let me know what you think. And there's another thing I want to bring up here. I've been being called for a while now, lose my voice, to bring out my group coaching program for people that maybe want to, you know, free their soul, that really hasn't faced all the fears and need to do that purge, and do it in a small group where it has more one-on-one with me, but it's a group clearing of a free your soul like online group coaching program that I have that includes energy healing as a group, small group. That way we have some real interaction together. If that is of interest to you, let me know, because these two things I'm offering, either like a global group activation for connecting to that's a free offer, and then a group coaching program with energy healing and activations to free your soul in a group. That way it gets the cost down and it gets us coming into a collaboration of together to do this work, kind of like in this timeline of this collective collaboration. Those are things I'm open and willing to do if there's a need. So I would need to hear from you. Please let me know. And if you have anything that you're doing that's helping you transmute this fear, also share it with us below. Okay? May you always face your fears, find freedom, and glow forward on fire. Namaste.